Hey guys, it's Marco again. I was in my first Sunken Temple clear and I decided to play Honor Among Thieves and Carnage runes. They should offer greater DPS output, but they're harder to play, and I think that was a mistake since I didn't know the raid, and learning something new in a new environment is not that smart. That's why for the first raid clear I recommend running Combat Potency or Honor Among Thieves, together with Cut to the Chase, which simplifies the rotation quite a bit. I also didn't use any add-ons, so you can see that maintaining Rupture and Slice and Dice without timer add-ons is manageable. However, I recommend that you get at least a weak aura or something to track those timers, since it's a lot easier. Overall, I recommend playing this build since it has a bigger DPS and skill ceiling, so the faster you get to play it, the faster you learn it. I also recommend liking this video and maybe even subscribing, since it will boost the amount of videos that I put up. Before starting the raid, I gathered all the possible consumables and world buffs, but I lack the raid knowledge and that will cost me quite a bit, as you will see. We're starting with the first boss, Atal'alarion. This boss should be quite fast, especially since everybody was world buffed and completely upped with consumables. I immediately started the fight completely wrong since I used Garrote into Slice and Dice. I should have used one Mutilate into Slice and Dice. And then I did a way too fast vanish, so there was a lot of mistakes already there. It's quite visible that I'm first time playing Honor Among Thieves. The whole gist of it is that you use Garrote at the start of the fight, followed by one Mutilate into Slice and Dice, and then just continue mutilating and using Envenom after each Mutilate. When this boss finishes this cast, he's going to knock everybody around. Ideally you'll kill the boss before this timer, but if you get knocked, just use Shadow Step so you stop flying. Here I did quite badly and I lost several seconds of boss uptime. I had to run all the way back and then press Shadow Step, and that cost me quite a lot of DPS, especially in this short fight. Second boss is Festering Rotslime. This boss was the most scary one. I didn't know what to expect from this. I mean, I read the guides, I saw the videos, and that's pretty much it. I still didn't know what to expect. We were told to immediately stack into the boss, and this time at least at the beginning I didn't fail my rotation. And now I started failing my rotation like completely. I didn't apply anything. I thought that I can't attack the boss, but you can actually attack the boss when you're inside of it. So people started dying left and right, and I didn't attack the boss for like 5 or 10 seconds. I did a small mistake here by putting a new Rupture before the last one finished. That cost me 1 tick of Rupture, but it's alright. And then I was slow with applying Slice and Dice, but I was in a stressful situation because I kept thinking that I was gonna die constantly, so you have to forgive me for these failures here. For this fight you need to have a Nature Protection Potion. It's going to serve you quite well. And now the boss is about to die, so I didn't want to reapply a new Rupture. And the boss is dead. I still did a fine log, but my whole execution of that fight was completely disgusting. For the third boss you have a whole council, and you basically need to CC a bunch of them and just DPS. For this fight I actually don't enjoy playing Carnage because all of these bosses die super quickly, and applying Rupture is just going to be kind of a waste of combo points. As you can see, we killed the first mob without even my Garrote like running down. So you'll have to manage Rupture way too much for it to be worth, at least in my opinion, and with Cut to the Chase you won't need to like reapply Slice and Dice either. And now I'm completely lost with this fight. I don't know which boss is the next, and you just have to keep your eyes open and look at the trolls moving. But I'm sure that in the next raid or two I'll figure it out completely. So I was just doing the same rotation. When the new mob comes, I use Mutilate into Rupture, and then just Mutilate in Venom and keep up my Slice and Dice. Also, this mob does a charge and then he does this cleave. You can be a bit cocky and wait and DPS until the last moment, and then you run away. Now for this boss actually casts Thorn, and nobody actually dispelled Thorn, and here I basically killed myself with a bunch of other melee DPSers. So you need to kill the totems here, and a healer or a priest needs to dispel Thorns faster, so we don't die super quickly. Every time you hit the boss when he has Thorns on, you're gonna take 400 damage back, so I basically immediately killed myself. And together with 5 other players. And that's where I lost my world buffs and my flask of Atal'Alarion, so my DPS is going to be quite bad after this moment. After the council fight, you get to fight a pair of dragons. One of them is going to be completely immune at the first, so it's just a solo target fight, but in the later stages you might actually cleave if you have enough DPS to kill the boss super fast. And at certain stages of the fight, one of the dragons is gonna go away and the other one will come, and he's gonna cast a pushback, so it's important that you don't fall in the hole inside in the middle of the room. And I was quite afraid of it, and I didn't know how the mechanic exactly works, but it's quite an easy mechanic and you just need to have Shadow Step ready for it. So you can even stay like almost near to the boss and just Shadow Step to it, and it's going to be easy. So the priority is Slice and Dice, Rupture, and then Envenom, when both of those are up. When they're both together, they're gonna do double knock-up, and that can get annoying, and I'm still not sure how to precisely execute it. Like, what's the correct way to have as much uptime on the boss, but eventually I'll figure it out, or someone or some of you will tell me in the comments. But I'm trying to focus the same dragon constantly so my poisons don't fall off. And again, it's straightforward, you just need to keep your eyes on your buff bar and on the debuff bar so you know when to refresh your Slice and Dice and Rupture. And there we go, this boss was kind of easy after the nerfs, because like the whole raid is easy after the nerfs, everything has a lot less HP. When it comes to this boss has been changed so many times, and we're actually killing the priest first now. There's nothing really to talk about on this boss fight, it's just like, I feel like there was no mechanics going on and you're just like completely focusing on your DPS, and that's pretty much it. And it gets quite simple because you just do Mutilate into a combo finisher. It's kind of weird to get used to, but I guess it's easy. Now, my biggest issue with Carnage, I'm not sure when to reapply it if the boss is about to die. And then I just decided to go on to the next boss in order to just... so I don't need to cast Rupture, which is not gonna have any effect on the boss, because it's gonna die within a tick. and the boss is already dead, and I'm quite happy with my DPS considering that I lost basically all the important world buffs and flask. For this dragon boss fight, he was also kinda changed and you can't line of sight him. And I also forgot that this is actually a dragon, so you can't be behind of him. And it took me quite a while to remember, oh wait, all of these people are getting knocked because, yeah, it's a dragon, he does the tail swipe. But it's a very small dragon, so I didn't even think about it. And now the boss summons elementals, and at the end of this cast he'll transport you into another realm, and the goal here is to actually kill these elementals. I was a bit unlucky with my deadly poison procs, but after you kill the elemental, you want to soak the elemental before the cast is over so you don't get transported into another realm. And this boss goes back to the tank and spank, and you're just standing there killing it, and hopefully your HP is not gonna go down to 0. And now this is the first time that I got tail swiped, and I was like, oh my god, he has tail swipe. I used immediately shadow step, so nice reflexes there, and then I decided to stay at one side of him and not behind him. We had a tank swap there, so I kinda was scared that I'm gonna get knocked again. Luckily it didn't happen. Now both my Slice and Dice and Rupture were down, and that's why I used my Slice and Dice first, and then I used another Mutilate into Rupture, because Slice and Dice has a bigger priority. Now he sends you to the dream phase, and your job is to kill the boss before he finishes the cast of this ability. Also in this phase, boss is taking 100% more damage, and I'm not sure if this is gonna show on logs. I kinda believe that they reduced the damage from this phase, like accordingly, so you don't actually do 200% of your damage, the logs scale it back to 100%. When it comes to Shade of Eranikus, I literally had no idea what's going on. The raid leader said what we're doing, but I still didn't know what to expect. It's kind of a weird boss fight, and I feel like melees again don't have a lot of things to do. He has certain thresholds at which he's just gonna spawn mobs, and you just need to focus the mobs because the boss is gonna be immune. When he's casting Slumber, you don't need to reapply Rupture, because he's not gonna take any damage and you're gonna swap your target quite soon. And after he awakens, he's practically not gonna do anything. He's also summoning a lot of whelps, and you're not DPSing them as a rogue. There is one important cast when you need to soak a mechanic, or otherwise you're gonna die. And here I was kinda cocky and entered the poison gas last second before he finished the cast. But you have to be cocky in order to do as much DPS as you can. And now I decided to cast Rupture on this mob, but you shouldn't even cast Rupture on these little mobs because they're dying way too quickly for your Rupture to do anything, and 20% more damage on your abilities isn't really worth it. Again, while the boss is sleeping, just reapply your Rupture so it's ready for when he wakes up. And in the last phase, some acid rain is dropping, so you just need to dodge it, but the boss should basically roll over. Atal'Hakkar is the last boss, and this is the only boss on which we had a wipe. The first phase is killing these casters, and then you try to kill the serpent as fast as you can. He's not gonna stay here forever, he's gonna transform into his skeletal form quite soon, so I'm not sure when it's the correct time that you stop casting your raptures. All that I learned from this boss fight is that it's a super long boss fight without a lot of things happening, but if things go south, they're gonna go south quickly and you're probably gonna die. I made a mistake here, I casted in Venom even though I didn't have Rupture up on the boss. And now the little ad is gone, so my late Rupture was like completely wasted. But at least this is the final boss and you need to 100 to 0 this guy. So again, I'm just using one Mutilate before I use my finisher. It's a simple rotation, but there's some finesse to it with maintaining Slice and Dice and Rupture on the boss. When it comes to this boss fight, we had troubles with Corrupted Blood. Whenever you get the Corrupted Blood, you need to move in front of the boss when he does his cone ability, and there are no timers for it. At least I didn't have any timer for it. So whenever I get the Corrupted Blood, it's gonna be hectic because I won't be able to DPS the boss. So basically, at least in this raid, I was just praying that I don't get a Corrupted Blood, and that's pretty much it. Here my Rupture fell off. I used Wind Venom, and then I used another Wind Venom, and then I used another Wind Venom. My brain completely shut down here. I didn't even have almost any of the consumables. After 3 Venoms, I actually saw that I don't have Rupture on. But overall, I was kind of scared of this boss because we already wiped to it, and I was just like trying to pay attention that I don't have any of the debuffs. More than I was paying attention to my DPS. But this boss really has a lot of HP and not a lot of things are going on. At least for melees, we're just here on his back and DPSing him. Now I got the Corrupted Blood and I spread it to the tank by an accident, and as you can see, like, we don't know when can we clear the Corrupted Blood, so I can't outrange them because you're taking damage from all the Corrupted Blood around you, and basically your healers can't heal that much damage, so you need to be like split around. And you just need to wait for his breath to cleanse you from its Corrupted Blood. And as you can see, I died here and I had like 20-ish seconds downtime, but it is what it is, the boss is dead, we have the loot and it's all good. That's all for the raid, even though I'm happy with how the raid is looking and the rogue DPS state. I'm quite unhappy with my performance in the first raid. I should have done way better and there was a ton of mistakes, and I don't mean just dying and losing my buffs. Hopefully in the next few raid lockouts I'll get together and play properly. I intend to play the next raid with easy runes just so I can give you that point of view, and hopefully I'll have a proper log run in 2 weeks. That's it for this video, thank you for watching and bye bye.